Years ago, when I was younger, I lived in a mobile home park tucked away on the edge of a small Texas town, one of those blink and you miss it places just off the highway. The kind of town where the Dairy Queen was the social hub and the summer heat clung to your skin like syrup. The mobile home park had a gritty sort of charm when we first moved in. It wasn't glamorous, but it felt real. A community where people waved when you passed by. Kids rode bikes until sundown, and you knew the name of the guy fixing his truck 3 lots over. Back then, the park was independently owned, managed by a local family who, while a little disorganized, genuinely cared. If something broke, they'd send someone out. If you had an issue, you could talk to an actual person and not be transferred around a phone system with endless prompts. The lot rent was fair, the rules were mostly common sense, and for a while, it felt like a pretty solid place to call home. That all changed when the corporate takeover happened. It started subtly. New signs with a bland corporate logo, an uptick in rent notices that looked like they came off a laser printer instead of handwritten ones tacked to your door. Then came the rulebook. It was thick, overly specific. Suddenly, things like the type of curtains you could hang or how many flower pots you had on your porch were being scrutinized. The friendly, scrappy vibe of the community began to fade, replaced by a sterile, controlled atmosphere that felt more like a prison yard with double wides than a neighborhood. And then came the towing incident. The spark that lit the powder keg. I woke up one ordinary morning and looked outside, and my car was gone. Vanished. Just an empty patch of dirt and crumbling pavement where it had been parked the night before. At first, I thought it had been stolen. My heart dropped to my stomach. I felt that ice-cold rush of panic, imagining the worst. Break-ins, police reports, insurance nightmares. I called the cops to report the theft. That's when I was told, casually, that my vehicle had been towed. Towed. From my own damn driveway. I was furious. I called the park office and got nothing but voicemail purgatory. I finally got a live human from the tow company who was almost gleeful in telling me the reason. Apparently, 2 of my tires had been on the grass. Grass. Now let's get one thing straight. This wasn't some finely manicured golf course lawn. This was scrappy, half-dead patchwork grass fighting its way up through cracked concrete and dusty soil. The driveway itself was falling apart, disintegrating at the edges like a stale cookie. Texas heat will do that. Years of 100-plus-degree summers had baked it into oblivion, and with every season the pavement shrank, the cracks widened, and the weeds crept in. We had 2 cars, mine and my spouse's, and there simply wasn't enough intact driveway left for both of them to fit without someone's wheels edging onto the encroaching turf. Everyone in the park did it. Everyone had to do it. But I was the one who got hit, probably because a park manager happened to drive by with a clipboard and an attitude that day. I spent the entire day on the phone, arguing, being passed around like a hot potato. I missed work, although I was lucky enough to have PTO to cover the day. Still, it felt like a violation. Not just of property, but of basic dignity. No one cared. The park manager shrugged it off. The towing company acted like they were doing the Lord's work, and I was left feeling powerless. Until I remembered, if they wanted to play by the rules, then let's play all the rules. I called city code enforcement. I explained the situation calmly, no yelling, just the facts. To my surprise, they took me seriously. Within hours, a city inspector was at my home, measuring the driveway and taking notes. Turns out, my instincts were right. The driveway didn't meet city code, by a long shot. The code required driveways in mobile home parks to meet minimum width and depth specifications, and mine had eroded so badly it was barely functional. And then came the best part. The inspector didn't stop at my lot. Oh no. They walked straight into the park office and told management that they would be conducting a full inspection of all 188 lots in the park. Every driveway, every violation. And the park had 30 days to bring every single one up to code or face penalties per violation, per day. The smugness evaporated from the park office overnight. That one visit likely cost them tens of thousands of dollars, maybe more. Repairs, fines, and inspections, all because they couldn't be bothered to fix their crumbling infrastructure but had no problem towing someone for parking 2 inches too far left. As for my car, I got it back that evening, free of charge. No fee, no citation. But the tow yard staff didn't take it well. They handed me my keys with the kind of smile you give someone while fantasizing about throwing a wrench at them. I didn't let that ruin my moment, though. I made a show of inspecting every inch of my car, taking photos from all angles like I was conducting a crime scene investigation. I wanted them to feel watched, to feel like maybe this time they messed with the wrong person. But we were done. This was the last straw. My spouse and I knew we had to get out of that place before the next petty rule or corporate scheme came for us. The problem was, we didn't want to just walk away from the home. We'd invested in it. It had history, memories, and we still owed on it. Selling wasn't easy, especially not with the corporation trying to force everyone to buy directly from them now at jacked-up prices. Our home's value had been raised $5,000 over what it was listed for when we first moved in, all because the company figured they had people cornered. Most of our neighbors couldn't afford to move, and the park knew it. That was the real trap. But then, along came a lifeline. We met a young couple who had just moved into the park, Jamie and Chris. They were in their late 20s, clearly trying to get back on their feet. Chris had just started a steady job at the refinery on the other side of town, and Jamie worked part-time at a local diner while caring for their toddler. They were sweet, respectful, and driven, but they had rough credit and couldn't qualify for financing. We took a leap of faith. We offered them a private lease-to-own deal. No middleman, no predatory corporate markup. Just what we owed on the place. It wasn't about profit. It was about escape and maybe helping someone else dodge the same fate. It turned out to be the best decision we could have made. They took great care of the home, mowed the lawn, fixed little things, even painted the trim. They paid every month, on time, without fail. Within 2 years, they'd improved their credit enough to refinance the place under their own names. I remember the day they called to tell us. It felt like a small victory in a world that so often feels rigged against people like us. So, yeah, that mobile home park tried to crush us under rules they didn't even follow themselves. But we fought back, with the truth, with the system they thought protected them, and with a little humanity. Revenge didn't come with shouting matches or broken windows. It came with building inspections, repair bills, and the knowledge that they would think twice before towing someone else over a patch of overgrown grass. And it came with seeing a good family get a real shot at a better future in a home we once called ours. That's a story I'll never forget. And honestly, I wouldn't change a thing.